There's a strange beauty in the seasons where nothing seems to be moving. When doors remain closed, when phone calls go unanswered, when your hard work doesn't seem to produce anything meaningful, it's in those moments where your mind whispers, "Why keep going?" or "Has God forgotten me?" But the truth is, those very seasons, those quiet, hidden, and uncomfortable times, are the places where your future is being carved out in silence. Think of a seed. Before it ever becomes a tree, before it ever pushes through the soil, before it sees sunlight, it first has to go underground. It's buried unseen, surrounded by darkness. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. But in that dark soil, transformation is taking place. The shell breaks. The roots begin to form. It finds stability in the very ground that covers it. The seed doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't ask for a spotlight. It simply surrenders to the process because that process is sacred. You are the same. Life often places us in these buried seasons where your progress is invisible, your name is not known, your gifts go unnoticed. You might be raising children in silence, working a job that doesn't reflect your dreams, grinding in obscurity while others seem to shine. But just because others can't see your growth doesn't mean growth isn't happening. In fact, the most important growth in your life will always happen before you're seen. You may feel like the world has passed you by, like your time is overdue, like everyone else is moving and you're standing still. But what you don't see is that every moment you stayed committed, when you had every reason to quit, was building something eternal inside you. You were becoming trustworthy with what you're praying for. Your waiting season was never wasted, it was working. You were being shaped, not stalled. Prepared, not punished. Ask anyone who's ever succeeded, anyone who's ever stepped into something meaningful. They'll tell you the same thing. It was the unseen work, the daily discipline, the faith when nothing made sense that prepared them. The preparation wasn't just about sharpening their skills. It was about stretching their spirit. It was about becoming the kind of person who could carry success without being crushed by it. Maybe you were overlooked for the promotion. Maybe you've been single longer than expected. Maybe your business hasn't taken off yet. Maybe your breakthrough has felt delayed year after year. But here's what's powerful: your timeline is not broken. You are not behind. What you thought was a setback was actually a setup for something more sustainable. In everyday life, we've been conditioned to celebrate speed, fast results, instant rewards. But everything truly valuable in life takes time. Relationships, trust, wisdom, stability, none of those are built overnight. So why would you expect your purpose to show up instantly? Slow seasons aren't a curse, they're a classroom. Every no you faced taught you resilience. Every delay strengthened your patience. Every time you had to show up without recognition, it taught you humility. And humility is the foundation for greatness. Think of a construction site. The higher the building, the deeper the foundation must go. If you saw a team spending months digging a massive hole, you might think they're wasting time, but they know the truth. The depth of the foundation determines the height of the future. So if you've been in a deep place, if you've felt like you've been digging longer than everyone else, it's probably because what's coming for you is higher than what you expected. You're not being overlooked. You're being rooted. And let's be honest, sometimes you thought you were ready, but you weren't. You would have mishandled the opportunity. You would have broken under pressure. But now you've been refined. Now you've learned how to stay steady. You've learned to pray when you're uncertain. You've learned to keep walking even when you can't see. That's preparation. That's maturity. That's divine development. So don't despise the waiting. Don't compare your process to someone else's highlight reel. Trust that nothing is wasted in the hands of God. Every tear, every sleepless night, every silent disappointment, it's all part of your preparation. When your moment comes, and it will, you'll walk into it not desperate, not rushed, but ready. You didn't just survive the season. You became someone stronger in it. And that strength, that quiet inner growth, that's the very thing that will carry you when the reward arrives. Because when it does, it won't be random. It will be the harvest of everything you sowed in silence. There's a moment in life that many people experience, but few talk about openly. It's the moment when everything around you gets quiet. The kind of quiet that isn't peaceful, but puzzling. You pray, and it feels like your words hit the ceiling and bounce back. You hope, but hope starts feeling like a thin thread you're trying to grip with tired hands. You start to wonder, where is God in all of this? Has He gone silent on me? Did I miss something? And in that stillness, it's easy to believe that silence means abandonment. But here's the truth that transforms lives when it finally sinks in. Silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. Silence is a tool. Silence is preparation dressed as mystery. You are not being ignored. You are being watched, developed, and trusted. Let's think of it like this. A great teacher doesn't talk during a test. When you were in school, during the lecture, your teacher guided you, corrected you, helped you. But when the test began, they didn't say a word. Not because they left. Not because they didn't care. But because they had already given you what you needed. The silence wasn't a punishment. It was a sign that you had entered a new phase of time to show what you've learned. In life, God does the same. There are moments when you can feel Him guiding you, giving you clarity, opening doors. But then suddenly, it all goes quiet. You no longer feel the push. You no longer see the signs. You're left with what you've learned and a choice to trust that He's still present or panic in the silence. Every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has faced this moment. The entrepreneur who pours all their resources into a project only to face weeks of zero progress. The single parent who stays up all night worrying about their child's future with no answers in sight. The student who works endlessly but keeps facing setbacks. These moments of silence are not voids, they are sacred spaces where character is forged. When things are loud, when life is busy, and the results are flowing, it's easy to feel like you're in alignment. But silence strips away the noise. It confronts you with your thoughts, your fears, and your faith. It's in the silence that we find out whether we were chasing outcomes or trusting a higher process. Silence forces you to stop depending on confirmation and start depending on conviction. Let's take a real-world example. Think of someone training for a marathon. During the months of preparation, they have a coach. The coach encourages them, gives feedback, adjusts their pace. But on race day, the coach doesn't run beside them. They cheer from the sidelines, but the runner is on their own. not because they've been abandoned, but because they've been trusted. The silence of the coach isn't a sign of disconnection. It's proof that the runner is ready. That's how God works. His silence doesn't mean he's far. It means you're stronger than you think. It means he's placed something in you that's ready to be tested. Not to break you, but to reveal you. Some breakthroughs only come when you've been through the silence and still kept walking. And here's something else. Silence gives you space to hear yourself. When you no longer rely on external voices to validate your path, you start building internal strength. You begin to understand your why at a deeper level. You stop chasing applause and start walking with purpose. It's in the silence where you become anchored, not in emotion, but in identity. You don't need loud signs to confirm your direction. Sometimes the silence is the sign. It means you've graduated to a new level of trust. It means the next chapter doesn't need noise. It needs your faith. Because what's coming is not just an answer to your prayers, it's a response to your persistence. Let's look at another example, nature. In winter, trees look dead. No leaves, no color, no signs of life. But underground, there's still activity. Roots are growing deeper. The tree is conserving energy. It's preparing. And when spring comes, suddenly there's bloom, beauty, life. But that spring is only possible because of what the tree did during the silent season. You may be in your winter, but your spring is already scheduled. The silence isn't stillness. It's sacred ground. So if you're feeling forgotten, unseen, or unsure, take a breath. The silence you're experiencing isn't punishment. It's proof that you're being strengthened. Don't rush to fill it with noise. Don't panic and pivot. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. Stay ready. Because the moment the silence breaks, it won't just be a whisper. It will be a flood of confirmation, alignment, and reward. You're not being denied. You're being developed. And soon, the very silence you feared will be the reason you stood strong when the storm passed.